Apple announced some updates on heart rate monitoring in watchOS 4. It will now display your heart rate on the watch face. It will also be able to use the accelerometer to get your resting and recovery heart rate. It will give you a notification if your resting heart rate is above 120 beats per minute or if your heart is beating irregularly. It will be released on September 19th. Apple also announced the new Apple Watch Series 3. It will be released on September 22nd, and it will have built-in cellular so that you can stream Apple Music or answer calls on your Apple Watch. Also, the location for Find My Friends will automatically switch to the Apple Watch when it is out of range with your phone. It has an antenna built into the display as well as a built-in eSIM. It has a 70% faster CPU and an 85% faster W2 Wi-Fi chip. The W2 is also 50% more energy efficient, and Siri can talk in the Apple Watch Series 3. The Sport Loop Apple Watch Band will also be released. Apple announced the new 4K HDR Apple TV, which uses the Apple A10X chip, which is the same one as in the iPad Pro. It is 2 times faster than the Apple A8 in the current Apple TV, and it also has 4 times faster graphics. The Apple TV 4K will be $179 for the 32GB model and $199 for the 64GB model. And Apple will be keeping the 32GB Apple TV 4th generation for $149. Apple also announced some updates on the Apple TV app. It will be coming to 7 more countries, and it will also have the new live sports feature where it will show on your home page if your favorite team is playing or if there is a close game. And when you're browsing through the games, you will be able to see the score and the time remaining. Apple also announced the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, which were originally expected to be called the 7S and 7S Plus. It is not an S release, it is more like the iPhone 7, which is in between a number and an S release. The iPhone 8 comes with a glass front and back. It comes in space gray, silver, and gold. It should have the most durable glass in a smartphone. It comes with steel and copper reinforcement, as well as a 50% deeper strengthening layer. The glass also has 7-layer color refinement. The aluminum is aerospace grade aluminum also. And the display is similar to the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. It is still IPS and still the same resolutions, but it is now a True Tone display. The 8 and 8 Plus have a new 12 megapixel camera, which lets in 83% more light. It has a larger sensor, deeper pixels, and a new color filter. They also have higher frame rates with 4K at 60 frames per second and 1080p at 240 frames per second. The new iPhones have cameras that are built for AR. They are factory calibrated. The iPhones also have a new gyroscope and accelerometer. They are capable of 1.2 million polygons in AR gaming, and it also has spatial sound, which is a feature which adjusts the sound based on the phone's location in an AR game. The iPhone 8 Plus comes with a new feature called Portrait Lighting, where you can switch the lighting effects on the subject that is in focus in a portrait picture with the options of natural, studio, contour, stage, and stage light. The 8 and 8 Plus also come with the new Apple A11, which has 2 high-power cores and 4 efficiency cores, making it a hexa-core chipset. And it comes with the capability to use all of these cores at once. It has 25% faster high-power cores and 70% faster efficiency cores. It also comes with the first Apple-designed GPU in an iPhone. The Apple A11 comes with a Neural Engine. The Neural Engine is dual-core and can perform 600 billion operations per second. Still have 2 gigabytes of RAM for the 8 and 3 gigabytes of RAM for the 8 Plus. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus come with the same battery life as the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, but they do come with 25% louder speakers. The 8 and 8 Plus now support fast charging and Qi wireless charging. Apple also announced the iPhone 10, which is the 10th anniversary iPhone. It comes with a 4.3mm wraparound bezel, which is the same on all sides, and an 82.6% screen-to-body ratio. It has a 5.85-inch display with a 19.5 aspect ratio. It has a resolution of 1125 by 2436, and it has curved corners. The display has a cutout at the top, and it is an OLED display, but it still has the same brightness, color accuracy, and True Tone technology as it displays in the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. It is called the Super Retina display, and it is a 458 pixels per inch pixel density, and it also has a 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio. The iPhone 10 does not have a home button. Instead, it has a home bar that you can swipe up on to go home, or to get into the phone from the lock screen. You can also swipe up and pause to go into multitasking. Unfortunately, it does not use 3D touch, so you have to pause. Swiping across the home bar on the iPhone 10 can switch between apps, and also when you press and hold the power button, which is now being called the side button, you can activate Siri. You can access the control center on the iPhone 10 by swiping down from the upper right corner. And also, to unlock the iPhone 10, Apple has replaced Touch ID with Face ID. With Face ID, the iPhone 10 uses a flood illuminator to illuminate your face even in the dark. It then uses an IR camera to scan your face and a dot projector to project a mathematical model of your face, and it texts that model against the model that it has stored. Like Touch ID, Face ID uses a secure enclave to store the information, has on-device processing, and it also requires the user's attention to unlock. It is supposed to be 20 times more secure than Touch ID. iPhone 10 comes with optical image stabilization on both the wide angle and the telephoto camera, and the telephoto lens is now an f2.4 aperture. The iPhone 10 also comes with a new quad LED flash, which provides 2 times better uniformity in light than the one in the iPhone 8. The front-facing camera on the iPhone 10 is the TrueDepth camera. It is still 7 megapixels, although now it can do portrait mode and portrait lighting on the front-facing camera. The front-facing camera can also be used for Animojis, which records your face and then animates emojis based on it. The iPhone 10 comes with the same Apple A11 3GB of RAM and Apple-designed GPU as the iPhone 8. And it also has better battery life than the iPhone 8, but not as good as the 8 Plus. The iPhone 10, 8, and 8 Plus all support Bluetooth 5.0 and are all the same IP67 rating as the iPhone 7 instead of an IP68 rating. Apple also introduced the new AirPower wireless charger, which can be used to charge multiple devices at the same time. The iPhone 8 has the same cost for the 256GB model at $849. The 8 Plus is slightly cheaper than the 7 Plus was, which is $949 instead of $979. But instead of having both a 32 and 128GB model, it now has a 64GB model as the lower end standard, which is now in between the price of the 32 and 128 last year. The iPhone 10 is available in the same storage sizes as the 8 and 8 Plus. It is $999 for the 64GB model and $1149 for the 256GB model. Apple discontinued the 256GB iPhone 7 as well as all product red iPhone 7s. They also introduced a 32GB jet black iPhone 7. The iPhone 7 will now be starting at $549. The changes are also applied to the iPhone 7 Plus, which will now be starting at $669. The iPhone 6s now starts at $449, and the SE at $349. $299 32GB iPhone 6 will be discontinued on September 19th. Apple also raised the price of the 256 and 512GB iPad Pros by $50, so that there is now a standard price per gigabyte for the memory in the iPad Pro, which is 1.28 gigabytes per dollar.